I've talked about before that I got reaching the age where my lipstick stocks, old lady lipstick, old lady makeup, old lady. So I'm a mom to two boys, 18 and 20 years old. And of course, being a mommy to two boys and being a woman myself, you learn a lot about boys and men while they grow up. And you have to talk to them. So this was maybe a strange introduction to my topic. The thing is, you learn a lot from your kids, but you have also, you need to teach them. And so being a mom to those two boys, I have watched a little bit of UFC, the fighting. And so one of my sons showed me the Paddy Pimblett 2 years ago. When he did that one, he was winning. He won at the UFC London. And after winning, he held a compelling speech. And let's watch that speech, and then I can come back. And this is because this speech, winning speech, is the basis of my topic for this podcast. So let's just watch it right now. So what I was supposed to do was to show you the clip, the Paddy Pimblett clip. But I was hit by copyrights. Of course I was. So the podcast was restricted in certain areas. So that's why I have to insert this clip. So the thing was, the clip that I was going to show you, it's Paddy Pimblett winning a UCL Ultra Fighting Championship in London, and a game there. And then he talked about dedicating this win to one of his friends. And then he talked about, just like before the weigh-in, he had this horrible call that one of his friends has offed himself. I'm not sure if I can say the real word for it, but you know what I mean. And he was hit with this horrible news, and just after winning, he was talking about, and he says there is a stigma in this world that men can't talk. And he talks about talk to anyone. I would rather have you cry on someone's shoulder than cry at your funeral. It's just a very, very powerful speech. And I can, just like Paddy Pimblett winning compelling speech, just insert that in your search form, and then you can see the speech yourself. But I think it's very, very, very serious topic to talk about. And so this is going to be a segue to what I said previous, after just showing the clip. So bear with me with this transition from this clip to the another one. So the next clip you're now going to see is me just right after I've shown the clip about there is a stigma in the world that men don't talk. And then I continue talking about how can you teach young men and boys and men to be better at talking. So yeah, so this is just a very, very, very touching moment, and very, very very, very important topic. There is a stigma in this world that men can't talk. And I think that is correct for so many men. And the reason is we start maybe to talk to the men too late. Because, from my point of view, you can't start talking with men when they're 18, 20. It's not the time to start talking to them. The time you have to start talking to them are when they are little boys. You have to teach them to talk about emotions and feelings, and from a very, very, very early age. Because if you don't, this is a training process like everything else in life. How to learn to ride, how to learn to run a bike, how to walk, how to talk, everything is a matter of practice and repetition. Repetition, you have to do that. So you also have to teach your boys, sons, brothers. But I think, like, from a mom perspective, you have to start to talk with your sons. So later on in life, they know how to talk about feelings and emotions. They know how to address their own emotions. They have knowledge about themselves, and it's okay. Because I think if they start building up a wall in the early age, it's very, very, very difficult to break that wall, and maybe that will have consequences later in life when the storms comes and they face hardship in life. So I use the framework. I use I'm just like my education is I have a bachelor degree in nursing science. But I've only worked as a nurse for 8 months, and I worked actually at the psychiatric hospital in Copenhagen with young people with different types of diagnosis, but mostly they were at that time it was schizophrenia and borderline and such. But anyways, during my education as a nurse, I learned how active communication theories. But later on, I took a master's degree from the IT University of Copenhagen, and I also learned the Agile framework. And I think you can use that. I think the Agile framework can use in life as well. So it's a combination that I got in my luggage that taught me how to communicate with my kids, right? My parents did not talk to me, so I learned how to communicate, but I've learned to communicate this well myself, and during, of course, the education. So you start very early on to talk about feelings, how they feel. Of course, not from when they're a baby, but you talk a lot with the kids. Talk about things. Just talk about everyday life. So in the beginning, with boys, when they're at kindergarten and that age, before they start school, you have a great communication with them. They tell you everything. And as they get older, boys tend to close up. And me and the father of my children, we have always said to our kids that you can come to us with everything. Let me just backtrack from where I was coming from with the bachelor in nursing science and the Scrum Agile framework. Because in Scrum Agile framework, you work with development teams where you talk about what did I do yesterday, what I'm going to do today, and are there any impediments? And I adapted that throughout my mothership, no, my parenting, and that was talking about not every day. You have to evaluate the situation, but it a lot of times what as the end of the day or during dinner, it's just like, what did I experience today that was good? What did I experience that was not that good? And are there anything that I, as a mom, can help them with solve, or what can they do tomorrow that will improve the day that they had? And sometimes they just like, it was a great day and nothing like that. But you start communicating with your boys in a very early age, and you can. I don't think you if a framework is not for you, of course it's not for you. But just like teach yourself to talk and find your way of communicating, because it starts early on. Because even though you tell them, even though me and my ex husband talk about with our kids, you can always come to us. Always come to us with a problem. If anything happens, if you have any difficulties, if because everything is in life is solvable. We can solve this for you. We can help you solve. So for that interruption, I had a sneezing episode. But going back where I left, even though you tell them you can always come to us, nothing. We will never judge you. Nothing is dangerous. Nothing. You can really f things up, and you can still come to us. The most important thing in life is that you come to us. And what I experience is that even though you say that, even though you tell them to come to you, they will try. And I think that is a kind of the feeling of shame that we all got, right? So if they do something stupid or something that they know deep inside because they have their correct values, the shame makes them not come to you until they know that I can't get out of this situation unless I get the help. So even though you communicate a lot with the kids and try to teach them how to talk and talk with others, they will try to avoid it. So there is a stigma that men can talk, and I think if they will not do that if you don't train and exercise on doing it. And this is an exercise that is not fulfilled or ends when they're 18, 20. I read because they have to face the hardship in life, and sometimes life hits you when you're 22. And when you're 22, your parents will be there. Your parents should be there for you. And even though the society consider them as grown-up men, maybe they are soldiers, maybe they're out there having a work, maybe they are entrepreneurs and doing very fine, or maybe they're just like going to university or just like having a sabbatical year. But it's something about being a mother, and you are a mother to your kids forever and ever. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I read on X, that X, it's the former Twitter, that a woman tweeted that take care of your kids. My friend just got the news that their son did an overdose, just like party drug, right? And did an overdose at 21. And please take care of your kids. And the comment where he's 21, he's not a kid. I don't agree with that at all. I think like your children are your children forever. They are your children forever. So if you're not that in stage in life, where your kids are. Maybe they are 15 and you think that when they're 18 is bye bye, they're on their own, they're adults. No. Even though the racing stop, you have to adjust, you have to be there to adjust them if they want to your feedback. But always, 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 always be there. Always be there. So if anything happened to my son at 25, of course my doors would be always be open for my sons. Both of them. I mean, it never ends. So if he is just like, he can't live off me. I'm talking about situation in life that makes life very difficult and hard. And they can struggle and not tell you that they struggle. But if you close the door on them, you will never find out. And maybe because asking for help is very difficult, and receiving the ask for help can also be difficult. Sometimes people ask for help and they don't get it because they can text you something, they can call you, and you don't get the message. You don't get the message. So you have to build a platform for your relationship where they know they can talk about hard feelings with you not panicking about it. Have to normalize the thinking of that life sucks. Yes, it's okay to think that life sucks. It's okay to think, is it worth it? It is okay to have dark thoughts sometimes. And you know what? Dark thoughts are as common as good. It depends on where you are at life. But this storm shall too pass. So you will get out of the dark thinking. But the dark thinking, and acknowledging that the dark thinking is there, you need to not panic about it. Because if they feel like you panic about dark feelings, you have to learn yourself to contain. And the containing is very, very, very important. This was something I learned when I was working as a nurse at the psychiatric ward, because you have to contain difficult feelings. And now I'm talking about the worst, where your mindset and your thoughts are your absolute worst enemies. So when there are not feeling that they want to continue in life, you have to say, I know, acknowledge the feeling, but I promise you, you will get better. It will get better. You have to be a rock in that. Understand that you are in a dark place, and it's normal to be, not normal, it is normal to be in a dark place for most of us, because things happens in life and you go into dark places. Not necessarily deep depressions, but you will experience grief, you will experience rejection, you will experience hardship with your loved ones. You can't really live your life without experiences this. It only depends on when in life you will experience it. I think it is a minority of people that don't have really hardship, and then just like the bar for feeling hardship is just like so low for them, so they freak out in situations that you will not freak out about, because you have faced this kind of hardship. And I think that 50 Cent, I have mentioned 50 Cent before, but he was shot 9 times. He still has a bullet in his thumb to just like this is fresh in his memory every single day. So he can compare things, right? When he faces hardship in life, where is it compared to being shot 9 times? Where on the scale is this hardship? And maybe it's, and if you know, like, I survived 9 shots, I will survive this as well. But this come with empirical experience, right? You have to experience it yourself. And that's what this is my speech for at communions or confirmations or whatever, when I have a speech for young people. You really, really, really want to take the experience part away from them, because if you as a 15-year-old experience something that you absolutely want your kids and the young to avoid to experience, there is really nothing you can do to prevent them from having that same experience. And then I talk about um, death in your nearest family. Then I talk about breakup, heartache. I talk about the stuff in life that happens to you. I'm not necessarily talking about trauma or like the really severe cases, but you even as a mother, you just like, you don't want them to face breakup and heartache, but it's no way you can't prevent it. So you have to prepare them for it. It will come. The hardship will come, and then you have to learn from a very early age how to deal with it, and you have to talk about it, and that's what you do. You teach them. You teach them to handle hardship, and you don't do that by when trauma happens or with something accident happens. I think one thing to not teach them is. I've had an example. So we were at a dinner party, not a dinner party, but just like in a brunch with some family. And then my oldest son went into the bedroom, and at the bedroom they have a broken glass and broken mirror, actually. And the broken mirror fell on his face and his ear, and it cut his ear in two. So, from my experience working as a nurse and on ER actually as well during my practitioner time, I knew how to stay calm in the situation and just like not escalate the hysteria or the, as my ex-husband, he just like went oh, up there. Don't go there. You have to stay calm in the situation, just like, so I had to take my son to the ER, right? And knowing that this could actually be a traumatic experience for him, because when you cut yourself, you need stitches, and then you have to hold the child's head still so they can make the stitches. And that's not a very fun thing. So for me, it was very important to just like minimize the trauma for him, to completely minimize the trauma, and not award him afterwards with an ice cream immediately, because then you will have some accident, maybe a trauma, and then you would feed the child with ice cream or some comfort, because that would be then a method of self-soothing if they experience hardship. So instead of talking, they will eat food, comfort food. And that can be okay, but I don't think, but because then you can get like an unhealthy way of eating. So dealing with this trauma and minimizing the experience and just like staying calm, and this is now what's going to happen, and just like you have your child close to you, talking with them, talking about, and then he has no recollection of this episode, and my kids do not turn to chocolate or ice cream or cake when they face stuff in life. They come to me and they talk now. And even sometimes I can, because as a mother, you learn how to, you can analyze your children, right? And you have the female intuition, you know, because you are so connected with the through DNA in your brain with your child. You know that something's up. And now it's not difficult to talk about it, because they can, because you have been through the whole teaching process of doing so. So they will tell you, mommy, it's nothing, mommy, I'm gonna solve this myself. Just like, yeah, I need some help and some thoughts about it. So you do your children and your boys a favor. I think this can be applicable for the women with daughter as well. But having no daughters, I really do not know. I think maybe my mothering would be different if I was having daughters. I'm not sure. I have nieces, and I've been kind of I'm talking and done a lot of talking with them as well, and just like acknowledging their emotions and teach the very just like taught my kids and them that no feelings are wrong feelings. All feelings are valid. So if you know that your feelings are valid, it's very easy, more easy to talk about them, because you're not crazy. But sometimes you think like having difficult thoughts that might make you crazy. So I think like this is the way of, you have to lay the foundation. You have to, this is our way, this is our love language. Our language is also communication. And my sons are very, very good at communicating their feelings now, and pinpointing them, and putting words on the feeling, like describing the feelings. So, and even me was sometimes very impressed by them, because like, how can you be this good at describing your feelings? And just like sometimes it blew me away. And it's a practice, you have to practice. And then I think like you are not 100% certain. There might be a case in life where it will be difficult for even my sons to talk. I would just like, hopefully they will not be, and hopefully I will pick on the signals as I know them. But at some point, they will not be 100% in my near proximity, right? So you will not have the daily touch. You will not. Is he deviating now from his baseline, so to speak, or is he just like himself? And you know that from friendship, like you have a childhood friend, and then they meet a partner, and then they starting to change their behavior, and they can start changing behavior in a good way or in a bad way. So that, I think like it's the same with your kids. You will see the change when they go out there in the world, live their own life. You will see the change if it is in a positive way or in a negative way. So don't stay silent about your thoughts about the mindset of the people that you love. Just like ask one time too much instead of one time too little. It can be, and teach them that you can't, not everybody is as good as you are talking about feelings. So the thing that happens here is just like they will become very good friends for other friends that has difficulties with talking about feelings. So they get they are in a situation where they can be alone in this, because they can talk about, and they can be like a true confidant. They can contain friends' emotions, but the friends can't really not contain their emotions. Of course, then it's very, very, very good to know that they can come back to the parents, to me. And because I am that harbor, I am that safe harbor for them. And yeah, sorry, I was getting very engaged, so I was just like shaking the camera. But yes, so I hope that my sons meet somebody like me, or some person in their life that can be the safe harbor for them. I will always be the safe harbor for them if they don't find it. And I've always, always, I have also taught them that don't get upset or frustrated with people that don't have the capacity that you have, because majority do not have the capacity. I can see a change with the Gen Z's boys, men, young men. I can see the change in them. I experience it from, of course, from studying my sons, the way the friends are talking to each other. They tell that they love each other, they talk, they have walk and talks, they talk about anxiety, they talk about depression. And one of my son's friends, he experienced heartbreak, and he went right down to the basement. So the darkness was consuming him. And he has not taught himself to face hardship, so he went into a depression when he was having a heartache. And it's very, very hard to have a broken heart, but it's very, very important that you know that this is not the end of the world. And of course, this is also an empirical journey, because when you're 40, you know that you will get over heartbreak. So you will get more cynical about heartbreak, because you know you will get past this, and you know it will work out. And there are plenty fish in the ocean. You have to just like pick a new fish. But when you're 18, 17, 15, you have not experienced that. So just like teach your kids to face that hardship and learn to talk about it, and just like, this is not the end of the road, this is not the end of the world, there's so many opportunities for you. And if you can't solve it, and maybe we don't have the solutions today, we will find the solution tomorrow, or next week. The solution is always there. Be pragmatic. Teach your kids to be pragmatic. And you teach them by being pragmatic yourself. You solve the problem themselves. And then when they get older and face difficulties, they know that if I'm only pragmatic about it, I don't have to have like, they don't panic because they don't have the solution today. They know the solution will come. It will always come. Everything will work out for the best. But I totally understand that a 15-year-old doesn't know it. You don't know it. You have to start the teaching process from very young age, and you will know it when you have faced difficulties. And from my background, or for my life, we are a family that has experienced a lot of stuff in our family. So I think like it's just like a matter of time when life is life, when it's just like easy. It's very short, has been very short in my life and in my family. And so it just like depends on how robust you are. And I sometimes envy people that are fortunate enough to just like not experience hardship until they're over 20, mid 20s, 30s. But of course, there is just like a vulnerability to that, because if you have not faced anything, and then boom, something happened at the age of 30. That can be just like, be aware of that situation, be very close to that person. And it's not just like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If somebody experience trauma, you have to be there after 6 months, because the support is massive in the beginning, but then it fades out. So be there, be the person that after 6 months or 1 year, just like you have a 1 year anniversary today. I'm thinking about you, and I know that this is difficult because the mind, the body remembers, depending on what you have gone through. This is the trauma, and this is the PTSD that many experience, is the remembrance, right? So the way trauma works is just like you start to have smell, your feelings, you're feeling something is different, you smell things, you remember, and something is up, but you don't know what it is. And then you just like realizes, oh my god, this is 1 year anniversary for the death of that one, or the accident, or the episode that I was robbed and threatened on gunpoint, or something like that. So out of the blue, the trauma will hit you, and that's also an empirical experience. But just like as a friend, be aware of that. Take notes. When did something happen to my friend or my family member, and remember it, address it. And the reason, one of the most common thing you can do, the easiest way to be there for trauma, is when people experience death of parents when they're very young. I have met quite a few persons in my life, because I have no barriers when it comes to talking about death. It's not hard for me to talking about the dead people, and grieving and sorrow and longing. It's a known feeling. So what I experience, I have my parents, so I have not experienced this myself, but from the friends and people I know that I have lost, it is that people forget about their parents. It is that they forget about asking how they are. It's just like, I know now it's 2 years ago since your dad died. How are you feeling? And the reason it comes from a good place, right? You think that you don't want to rip off the wound that I got, but you can't rip off anything, because the wound is there, and it doesn't matter. The only thing you do is acknowledging the existence of their loved ones. You validate the feelings, you validate that the sorrow is there, you validate their longing. And it's just like, if you're a young girl losing your father, and at your wedding day, the father will be so present, right? Because he is not there to walk you up the aisle. And you are always thinking about, would he be proud of me today? Or what would he be thinking about my husband? Would he approve? And you feel the presence, you feel the energy of the dead one at happy times as well. So if you just like acknowledge this, and it's not hurtful for them, because at your wedding day, it is a day of joy, tears, love, passion. It's about every emotion. Maybe not grieving, but it triggers a lot of emotions. Healthy. It's healthy to think of the ones that are not there. So please, 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 and I just like, what I would my advice there is, try to get out of your comfort zone and talk about the difficult stuff. And the more you do that, the more you learn to do it, and the better you become at it. I have the advantage of also being having a bachelor in nursing science, because during my practice I met a lot of people in such a horrible crisis situations. For me, sometimes it also felt too much, like when a doctor came inside and in the room after they have delivered the cancer diagnosis in not a very good way always, and you have to pick up the pieces. And being 22 years old and picking up the pieces of a 67-year-old man with a lot of integrity and pride, oh my god, it was difficult. And you just like had to do it, you were forced to do it, and by doing so you become a very good person, and you teach yourself, you become a very, very good person of doing so. And later on you will build easy building trust in people. So when I left this area and start working with software development and meeting humans there, and in STEM there are like relationship oriented leadership was not it's not really there. Not at my time, is becoming like it, but me applying this style in the STEM area, I truly believe it made me a better leader, and confident in colleagues. I have experienced that they did not go to their manager, they come to me, because they know that they can come with their frustration, they can come and talk about the difficulties that they're facing at work, and not risking anything by doing it. And I think that a lot of managers, senior managers, are not aware of that they're not good at being leaders, because they don't have this aspect in the leadership. They don't think it's just like it takes so much more to be a great leader. And again, it depends on who you are leading, of course. And if you are a CEO of Microsoft, of course, you can't do that on a very personal level. But you can do it in the way you build your company's value. What kind of values are your company built on? Okay, that's what a typical my brain having a digression. I'm so sorry. Going back to the topic, I of course have a huge passion in this, because I read this comment about your child is 21 years old. He's not a child like your child is a man. But I think like this is a horrible comment. Your son died at the age of 21, and you think like he's now on his own because he's a man. No, that will never ever ever happen in my life. Always, always, always stay as the safe harbor. You are the safe harbor. It's just like when you watch war movies and everything. Who do they call? They call for their moms, right? So why do you do that? You call for a safe harbor because you have them, you carry them in your womb for 9 months. You have the DNA in your brain. They will always be your kids, always. And you can see that. And once again, if you have met a 90-year-old, 90 years old got children very young. So you can see a 92-year-old with a 72-year-old 72, yeah, whatever age. So just like they're two old people, right? And you see the mechanism. You see that just like this is a mom and son and mom and daughter. You see that line at once. And for me, this is how biology is. This is how it works. I'm not devaluating the father's points here, but I can't speak for dads, right? I have to speak from the mom point of view. So the mom is very, very important, and the mom is the one that they cry for during war. I'm not sure during modern wars, because this is I don't think that is the same. Yeah, no, no, no. I don't want to go into modern warfare and who they scream after, because it's a horrible, horrible scenario. But I think it is very, very, very important to let just children know that I'm your safe harbor. You can come to me at any. I have said safe harbor 100 of times now, and start to repeat myself. So I think it's like there is a stigma in this world that men don't talk, and yeah, I think it is that in some cultures, and I can see a shift in the Gen Zs in the Western world. I can see a shift there. There are very good young men out there, young boys out there. They're also the very, very lost version of them, and I would really, you can see then the how it goes when you don't have anyone to talk to and don't have anyone to adjust your emotions, and their feelings start to completely involve around them, and not how they are a part of a family and a part of a small tribe and community and friendship. And sometimes they're just like they're so stuck in their own head, and the validation of the self becomes the absolute, and that's not good for anyone. So speak, 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 speak from a very early age, from very early age with your kids. And of course, this was about boys and men. I'm not sure if so when I just like talk with myself, solo podcasting, don't have any to ping pong on. So it would be great with like having a mom with a son that did it different. It's very difficult to have someone on, because the people are most of the times not comfortable to be on camera. I totally understand that. But yes, so I would like, if you see this, please comment, because I want to be challenged. Me talking to myself, it just like then it's just like a word soup maybe. So I need to be challenged myself. So please challenge me. I hope you enjoyed this. I will continue doing podcasts like this. Like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, bye bye.